Hey guys, my name is Logan Shinholster, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Contractor Growth Network, which doesn't sound exactly the same as Contractor Sales Academy, but we actually, the two companies, work together on a lot of things. So don't mind the name, definitely watch the content because it's the exact same message. I hope you like it. Check it out. So with all this, I mean, your background is unique in a sense where it was tough. You grew up, you went to prison, and instead of shying away from that and just creating this new Zach Babcock, you seem to lean into it. How come? Like what makes you want to just go, you know what, this is my background, instead of just shying away, this is who I am, let me double down on it.
Yeah, man, that was hard to do at first too. It was a mentor that helped me kind of do that. My whole thought process was I had just gotten fired right before I went back to prison because I got a promotion because I was on the sales team. 3,000, the whole store did 9,000. I was only there for 6 hours of that day, and the whole store did 9,000, and I did three of it. And so I got the promotion, and then I got fired because they found out I was a convicted felon. And so like that taught me like, hey, if I go share that I'm a convicted felon, people, I'm gonna get punished for it. And then I came out and I was doing network marketing for a while for 2 years. That's another story. I want to get into that. I no longer do. I no longer do that.
I've heard some of it, yeah.
But I didn't share it at first because I was like, man, if I share that I'm an entrepreneur, this is like my only shot at making life worth having. And if I share that I'm used to that I did over 5 years in prison, used to be a heroin junkie and a crackhead and all this stuff, then nobody's gonna take me seriously, and then I'm not gonna be able to feed my family. But my mentor kind of helped me unlock that. It was like, that's your what you think is a weakness right there. That's gonna be your greatest strength. That's what's gonna get people to relate with you, and that's what's gonna draw people in because it's interesting. And dude, you don't know how bored I get talking about my prison story, but I do it every time because I know it for one, it helps a lot of people. Certain parts of my story helps certain types of people going through certain types of things. But
Mhm.
and that's the case with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Whether you've been to prison or not, your story is powerful and people need to hear that shit. But it helps people, but also it does. It draws people in and people are curious about it. And so yeah, it was kind of hard at first, but now I leaned into it because it's become like what draws people in. I even say it in the first sentence of my podcast description, from over 5 years in prison to
Mhm.
building a six-figure business, because that's a stark contrast. Like, damn, most people don't go to prison for 5 years and then build a six-figure business or whatever. So it gets people curiosity based, I guess you would say.
It's a good hook to like at least get your foot in the door to go, okay, what's this guy all about?
Right. Yep.
Okay, so you go to prison, now you're building this brand. Before we jump into all the podcasting stuff, which I'm pumped for, what's something that you want people to know about you?
Yeah, man. That I will literally be totally, because like a lot of people know me as like this intense, super competitive, uh, wanting to dominate and win kind of guy, which I am. But
Hmm.
I will be totally 100% at peace and total chill if I don't achieve my goals, as long as at the end of my days, as long as I know that I did everything in my power to make it happen.
Hmm.
So what I mean by that is like, yeah, I want to achieve my goals and I want to win and dominate all that stuff. But if I don't, is it if as long as I did everything that I could possibly do to make it happen, but still failed, I will be totally okay with that. But if I didn't, if there's some things that I could have did or I didn't do it because of the effort wise, then that would just eat me alive, and literally make me miserable or whatnot. And I think about that every single day, dude. And I don't like to get onto this type of topic as much because you see it all the time. You see people on Facebook or wherever, and they're always talking about what they're gonna do, and then they never do it. And then it's because social media, for one, is built all on dopamine, and so they're saying, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then everybody's like, yeah, you go, you rock, and then they get this false sense of accomplishment and this dopamine rush, and then they don't even do it. Um and, and and they just look silly, you know what I'm saying? So I just like to, I usually I use social media to just talk about what I already did and what I just done, and I don't talk about usually what I'm gonna do. But anyways, since we're talking about that legacy though, man, it's like I wanna get a 9% recidivism rate nationwide in the prison recidivism, just because the system's broken and it's ridiculous. I haven't gone through it myself, and I want to be able to help people that were like myself that actually want to change their life around.
So what are you doing right now to work towards that?
Yeah, man. So I hired my first convicted felon in our company, and I'm running through this test pilot. But the idea here, and I'll briefly go through it because I could talk here about it for quite a while. But the idea here, man, is, dude, I went through the prison system. Anybody that goes to prison, it's their fault. I'm not taking away the responsibility, but there's a lot of people that go to prison that change their life around,
Hmm.
that learn from their mistakes, like I did. Well, the system is designed to keep you in the system. It's built on money, and it's designed to keep you in the system. They food stamps, welfare, assisted living, that's giving you a fish. It's not teaching you how to fish. And the recidivism rate shows, I mean, we dwarf any other country by far. Like, we dwarf any country as far as recidivism rate goes. And those numbers are even skewed. It's based on it within 3 years as a prisoner come back into the system or not. What about all the
Hmm.
prisoners that are getting back into that old lifestyle and they die because they went back to the lifestyle? Or what about the people that come back after 3 years? So those numbers are skewed even. And then on top of that, it's a complete waste of taxpayer dollars on the programs that these people are getting taxed for that don't even work, that are complete garbage anyways. The people teaching these programs, you can't even relate with them. And then on top of that, the curriculum is bullshit and a waste of time. And then you have to go to these programs when you get out of prison, when you can't even get a job because you got an X on your felony conviction record. So it's taking away the time that you could be looking for a job, and now you got to find gas money or bus money just to get to these places, right? So it's just a complete utter mess, right? I could go on more about how it's all, but I'll just quit talking. But anyways, we're gonna hire convicted felons in our agency, or get them matched up with other entrepreneurs that we're matched up with that fits their strengths, so they immediately have a job and can provide for their family. That's number one. They got to be
Hmm.
able to. They got to have something like that. Then they got to go through this program where they read specific books. Number one book, Man's Search for Meaning. Every single person that comes through my program has to read that book, because that'll change your fucking life right there, and let you know that, hey, anything's possible. But anyways, and so they have to develop their character and skills. And over time, for the guys and gals that are cut out to be entrepreneurs, they'll be able to go do their own thing. For the guys and gals that are not cut out to be entrepreneurs, they'll be able to continue to work for us or whoever we get them matched up with. And our goal, long-term goal, is a 9% recidivism rate or lower nationwide in the U.S., which is a crazy, ridiculous goal, but that's what we're sticking. That's what it is, and that's what we're sticking to.
That's awesome. I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true or not. It was on Instagram, so you never know. But it was like I think it was like Sweden or somewhere overseas that they were talking about, like if someone who's in prison like reads a book and then writes a book report on it, they can like reduce their sentence by like 2 weeks. And it's like for every book that you do that and actually write a report on, it reduces it by 2 weeks up to like a total of like 6 months or a year or something like that. So I thought it was pretty interesting that they're using the education side of things to try to empower people to then go, okay, on your way out, you read a couple dozen books, like you have to have learned something about, how to get back in society and own your shit. So I don't know if it's even factual or not, but I thought it was a pretty cool concept just because like for me personally, I feel like education as a whole, like opens a lot of doors for people. If you can learn stuff at a young age, like I went to college, but like that's a whole different type of conversation to have. But like all the online learning that I'm doing now, it's like if you were to learn this stuff years ago, like yeah, I would be crazy ahead of where I am now. So the fact that you make them read a book when they first come in has got to be like a pretty powerful thing. Like step one to go, look, we're serious. This will get your shit back together.
Yeah, man, absolutely, dude. I love that's pretty cool that they do that. I did not know about that. About, hey, you read a book report. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta look it up. I don't know if it's true or not, or if that's just like Uber facts on Instagram putting it out there. But I thought it was pretty fun stat. So
Yeah, man.
yeah. So cool. So let's with all this, let's start talking about the Underdog Empowerment movement, the podcast, everything that you're doing, because that's how I found you. So can you walk me through, if you don't mind, first off, what is Underdog Empowerment? And then just kind of get me with your journey, just an overview, because you went from, you know, what was it, day 3 with Billie Jean, and then now it's like Grant Cardone, is just popping on the podcast and like people like that. So can you kind of explain what Underdog Empowerment is to the audience, and then what your journeys look like?
Yeah, dude. So I got this exercise in my program. It's actually I give it away for free too in my podcast Penthouse Roadmap, where I talk about the 4 Ws. And I'm like, dude, this is the most important piece. Like, everybody was like, well, I want to know how to grow your downloads, or I want to know how to make money, or I want to know how to get it ranked, or interview celebrities and stuff, which is all the fun and exciting and the sexy stuff, right? But the 4 Ws is the foundational stuff. It's your marketing message. It's your podcast marketing message, essentially. And if you don't have this dialed in, your show's never going to be powerful. So when you say, what is your podcast? It's actually one of the 4 W's: the what, who, where, and why. And what Underdog Empowerment is, the one sentence of it is, it's the #1 resource for alpha underdog entrepreneurs to level up in their passive income business. But if you want me to take it a step further, because that's just a quick, hey, boom, here's what it is. But what it is, it's literally a documentation of me starting out and saying, hey guys, I'm an underdog entrepreneur. Yeah, I got all these odds stacked against me. Technically, I'm not supposed to be able to make this happen, but I'm going to do it anyways. I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to interview people that do have some of these answers on the show. We're going to learn together. Everything that I learn in the process, I'm going to document it right here on this podcast, and you're going to be able to grow with me. And that's exactly what it was. I started off broke as fuck, didn't know. I was just throwing stuff on the wall, seeing what sticks, didn't have a clue. And now we're talking about things on the podcast. What I'm going through right now is scaling a business and building an organization and stuff. And pretty soon we're going to be talking about investing and whatever, wherever it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just basic a documentation of the journey.
So with your podcast, I mean, you're starting to interview some pretty big heavy hitters. Can you walk through like what's it like when you're talking to JLD or you're talking to Grant Cardone? Like what's going through your mind? Because I know a lot of us talk to like somebody and they're like, oh shit, like they're way better than me. Like I got to be inferior to them. But I mean, you're stepping up to the plate with these big dogs. So what's that like for you when you are now seeing yourself face to face with these heavy hitters?
Yeah, man, I started recording with Grant, and he started asking me about prison sex and stuff, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I heard it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you kept being like, all right, Grant, let's dial it back a little bit. Yeah.
Right. It was pretty funny though, but no, I'm really, you said a really important thing there, and I'm glad you did, because I remember when I first started, I used to feel that. I don't know more because I've interviewed so many high level guests where it's like, here's the thing. At first, like with like the first ones, like you could tell like I was trying to kiss ass or whatever, or, and that's not the way you want to go about it. Here's the way to reframe and rewire your mind to come at it from the right ways. Even though they're super high level, whatever, and they've achieved a lot more per se in that specific field than you have, it still doesn't mean that they're a better human being than you are, because we're all
Mhm.
equal when it comes to that regard. And on top of that, you got to get in your head that you're doing them a favor. You're sharing your platform with this person, with your audience. You're inviting them onto your show, which is a media source. And so you're doing them the favor. That's got to be the mindset. You are doing them the favor. And then when they come on the show, whenever you get to jam with the Dean Graziosi or the Andy Frisell or whoever it is, um, have it in your mind like, dude, I'm gonna talk to this person the same way that I would talk to my best friend. I'm gonna talk to the same person as I talk to anybody. I'm not gonna try and be anything that I'm not, and I'm not gonna try and impress anybody or anything. I'm just gonna be myself. And that's how you really make a good impression, is just by being yourself, man. I swear it's some basic ass, cliche ass advice right there, but it's the simple shit like that is what really works.
And with that kind of stuff, it's like selling. Like when you sell, at first you're just going off a script and you're nervous as shit and your voice is going up and down, but eventually you just kind of come into your own and you realize it's just a conversation. And
Yeah.
it's just two people talking and you're just communicating. And once you get to that level, you're like, oh wow, this is actually like an okay conversation. It's like it opens so many doors on what you can say and how you can act. So
Amen.
it's a cool little thing. So so with my audience, they're all contractors, local businesses. So for you, in your opinion, do you think that a local business needs to have a podcast? Is this something that they should capitalize on, or are there other media or marketing resources that may suit them better?
So obviously my answer is always going to be biased, because I
Sure.
podcasting changed my life, and then after being able to work with so many people, like 58 people one on one, and a lot of other people through that have gone through my programs, I've been able to see it from a lot of different angles. But absolutely, I'm going to say yes, and the reason why I'm going to give you the reason why. So I'll give you an example. And I worked with this lady that was like in the industry where you think like, truck driving, where like, what would a podcast do for a truck driving industry, right? Well, when we sat down, we mapped it out. She has these manufacturers that she wants to do business with, right? But she doesn't want to come from an angle of being needy and just hitting them up just because she wants to do business with them. She wants to have a way to break that ice and start that conversation. And so a strategy for her to grow her show is, hey, you interview these top companies that you're trying to do business with, have the CEOs come on your show, y'all build rapport, and that's going to turn into a business relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason why. Same thing with another buddy. I'm not going to go into we'll call him John. Was a mortgage broker. And his in the mortgage industry, what I learned from by working with him is that they they feel like real estate agents make them beg for the deals, and they like treat them like roaches, and they don't want to feel like that. They want to feel like the rock stars or whatnot, but they always feel like they have to beg the real estate agent for the deal in order to do business. So the strategy was interview, you don't have to do just real estate agents, but part of it's going to be interviewing the real estate agents in your area, in your location that you want to do business with. And you just come at it from just, hey, I just want to have you on my show. And now you're doing them a favor, and you get to build that rapport, and then that turns into y'all doing deals together or whatnot. So absolutely, man, it works regardless if you're local or if you're online.
So with the interviewing people onto the show, it makes total sense to me. What would you talk about? Let's just say you're a home builder and you're in St. Louis. So what would you talk about if you're a home builder in St. Louis on your podcast?
Talk about the trends of the buying habits that are going on, like the prices. Like I don't know this industry at all, so I'm just making some stuff up here.
Yeah, you're good.
But like maybe there's been like trendy, like the prices have been going up in a certain area or whatever, or what to look for when you're working with a real estate agent, or there's a ton of different topics. It's just I would have to know that industry a little bit more, but yeah, you just talk about anything that would be relevant, and then you can even build your audience with your perfect customers. You know what I mean? Like what it really comes down to, because this is what I'm giving you here is like kind of like what's the word I want to look for? What I'm trying to say is there's cookie cutter strategies and tactics to make all the different things work as far as podcasting goes. However, it's not going to be cookie cutter with every single person, because every single business is different and every single person's goals is different. So if your goal is like, hey, I want to build a huge brand, and like I have mine is more where anybody in any state can buy my stuff, and I want to build a huge brand and turn those people into customers, then your strategy is going to be completely different versus, hey, I just want to use this podcasting as a tool to network with the people that I want to do business with, and I don't care about building a huge brand. It's going to be different in both of those different cases. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So it's like with because I'm a big on video and stuff. So it's like, are you building your YouTube subscription base for actual clients in your area to buy from you, or are you building it up just so you can get enough to start to monetize and make money off the ad spend? So it's just one's kind of creating it for the masses and a huge widespread brand, while one is very focused, but it's to the people that are actually relevant to your business, not to your YouTube channel, if that kind of makes sense, or if I'm even on base with that.
No, 100%, dude, and it is, and then and that's why I like to work a lot of times with people one-on-one when it comes to stuff, because then you can even have unique cases where the person is like, let's use a hypothetical situation where their business is local and they want to become that guy local. They want to be to dominate their local area, but also they might come at it from an approach of building this crazy big podcast audience and ranking it up and interviewing like Grant Cardones and stuff like that, because like let's say they're a mortgage broker, and if they're trying to be the number one mortgage guy in their industry, well, if they're interviewing people like Grant Cardone, then the real estate agents are like, yeah, I want to be on your podcast too if you had Grant on, and then they want to do business with you, so you can leverage it in so many different ways, and there's so many different angles to tackle it from. It really once again comes down to the specific goal of what you're trying to achieve.
That's cool. So if people want to, like obviously people who are listening to this are understanding that podcasting is a way to communicate. If somebody's trying to learn more about you or learn more about what you got going on, what's the best place for them to do that? Where should they go online to learn more about Zach Babcock and everything?
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you asking, dude. So definitely I'm always going to plug my own podcast because I'm super passionate about that. It's what I like, live and breathe, this podcasting stuff. It's Underdog Empowerment. You guys can check it out on pretty much any podcast platform that you listen to podcasts on. But to make it really simple for you, you can go to underdogempowerment.com, and right there on the homepage, you might have to scroll down just a tad. There's a red button that says subscribe, and you could subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, whichever one you prefer. Hope to see you over there. And then for the podcasting services specifically, I actually made up a special page for you guys if you're looking to start a podcast. And it shows a complete roadmap on everything you would need to know, even if you don't have an idea on how to podcast. It comes with 3 tutorial videos and a checklist and all this stuff, all the way to having it up and running. And you guys can check that out at underdogempowerment.com/Logan.